Welcome to the second episode of this podcast. I think Wednesday is a good day. I put it up last Wednesday, and I think Wednesday at noon is going to be the time to put these up. It's going to be like a
lunchtime thing.
Yeah, but it'll also be like middle of the week. You're almost done with the work week kind of thing.
Hump day kind of deal.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, that sounds good.
The Humpcast.
Let's not call it that, but I don't want to. So it's gonna stick with radio tunes, right?
Okay.
Good,
I like it. Good. I think it's good. All right. Well, we did something pretty cool last weekend.
Yeah, we went to go see Animaniacs live. If you guys haven't heard of that, it's essentially the characters Yakko, Wacko, and Dot are voiced by three actors. I don't remember the names of the three actors, but they come out and essentially just kind of sing along with a full orchestra.
Yeah, they had
some of their more famous songs.
So they did a bunch of songs. It was Rob Paulson, Jesse Harnell, and Tress MacNeille, which are the three Warners.
I gotta say, Rob, who plays Yakko, right?
Yeah.
That is one of the most impressive voice actors I have seen in a long time.
Yeah, he's an all-around entertainer. He's got...
Oh my goodness.
He knows how to sing. He's got little jokes, little quips. It was a really entertaining
to be honest, up until we went, I think Billy West was my most impressive voice actor that I knew, only by reputation. You knew all these different people that he voiced.
Yeah.
All the way back from Ren and Stimpy to his more recent one was Fry from Futurama, and then I'm sure he has tons more.
I think he was Bugs Bunny, wasn't he? At one point, he was Bugs and.
I don't know for sure, but there's been so many iterations of the Looney Tunes that maybe. Yeah. But dude, seeing Rob up there, not only could he sing, not only did he do his parts almost flawlessly, but if you remember, Yakko had a song that made him kind of famous where he sang all the countries of the world. And I thought, okay, he'll sing that, but at least he'll have a list, or he'll have sheet music or something.
Yeah, he had it memorized.
No, he memorized the entire thing.
That's insane.
And then one of the guys that was up there with him, who was the guy who actually wrote the music, and I'm really sorry, I don't remember his name either. I'm really bad with names. He was the one who was coming up with all these songs. When he was telling the story about how that was done, he said that Yakko did it in one take.
Yeah.
And that is super impressive.
I can't even name the 50 states, let alone sing it, so it's very impressive on his part.
I mean, you know what's funny is, okay, so Wacko, who that guy's name is Jesse Harnell. He was using
he had a script for his what is it, the states in the
50 states in the capital.
That's what it was.
But Yakko, who was doing the countries, had nothing.
Yeah.
And that was crazy, man. But that experience was amazing.
Yeah, an even more obscure song. It's countries as opposed to just the states and their capitals.
It was amazing. And to be honest, it was the La Mirada. What was it? The La Mirada Orchestra, I think.
Performing Arts Theater.
Yeah, but the orchestra was a lot smaller than, for example.
But there were some of the people there that worked on Animaniacs.
Yeah, which was really crazy when you see full-grown adults committing to doing this cartoon.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange because cartoons are for kids, and yet a slur of professionals make it happen. It's kind of trippy to see. I was telling you right after that I went to go see the Looney Tunes in concert, which was they would show the cartoons, and then the New York Philharmonic would play the music of it.
Yeah.
Which is, usually Barber of Seville, all these different classical music. And that was good because it's the New York Philharmonic. It's a bigger sound. But I gotta say, I enjoyed this performance so much more.
Oh, yeah, because it's funny.
Well, not only is it funny, but, when I went to go see the one in New York, there was just the music and then the visuals, right? Which is still funny. But the voice actors, the three voice actors were amazing. And they were funny. And they were working the crowd. I mean, Rob seemed like a stand-up comedian up there.
Yeah.
He was really working the crowd.
They all did little samples of other voices they did, too. Rob did Pinky, of course. There was a song where he sang as Dr. Scratch and Sniff. And then I think he's also... I think he's also the fat kid in the Goofy movie. His friend.
Yes. Which would be Pete's son, right? That's the fat kid.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it because when he was doing his voices, I noticed there was a sound that matched all of them.
Yeah, there's like a consistency.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So, for example, I wouldn't be surprised. I was telling you as well because we talked a lot afterwards, but in the Animaniacs, there was this recurring character.
Yeah, you could tell he did a lot of extra characters.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, but there was a recurring character who was several different characters, but it had the same style of voice. The guy who used to say Freud Lavin a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was like Jerry Lewis, but then he was also that weird clown that kept attacking Wacko, or that wanted to go talk to Wacko, but he did the same kind of voice.
It might have been him. Yeah.
It was the same. It was. I'm thinking it was Rob. And then remember they do that whole thing where they send the Warners to go stop a rogue director who won't stop directing his film. And he's bald.
Okay.
And they torture him on his set, like trying to help him finish it. This is the same actor again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
So like, it's the same guy all the way across.
What was cool is that Tress, who does Dot, Tress McNeil, she did samples from The Simpsons. She's Skinner's mom. And she's also the crazy cat lady, and she's Mom from Futurama.
Dude,
it was insane hearing her just pull out those voices on stage, like on cue.
Oh man, she whipped them out so fast
Yeah,
though. It was like as soon as they would say it, she would do the voice.
Yeah, and Jesse Harnell did like the Beatles, but I don't.
Yeah.
He did like little impressions of the Beatles, but I don't know of any other characters he voices. He said he's on Sophia the First or something like that.
He said he was Sophia the First, and then the other two said that they were on Doc McStuffins.
Oh,
it looks like they're working all over the place.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Jesse seems like he has so many impressions that I bet he works as kind of like an all-around, hey, we need somebody who kind of sounds like this star. Let's use him. So I wouldn't be surprised that, like in Animaniacs, if he was every star. You know when they had like guests.
Yeah, he was probably Elvis. Like
he was probably all of them. Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, he busted out Elvis. Remember?
Yeah.
I have to say, for what we paid for the performance, it's totally like.
Yeah, it was like $30, and I was.
What a steal!
One of the most memorable experiences of my life. Who would have thought that like we get to see that, like live actors perform Animaniacs like.
It was pretty amazing, and I gotta say, the quality of people there, it was a lot of. How do I say this?
It was like people our age with their kids.
It was people our age and older.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised because, like, okay, so when I watched it, I was, like, almost a teenager.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I was still watching cartoons, but I was getting into teenager. So, a person that was older than me, probably in their 20s, 30s, so I'm guessing...
Yeah, there was some old ladies there. There was I was in the lobby, and they had this sign that said, like, check out our Snapchat filter. And I don't really know how to use Snapchat super well, so I was trying to figure it out, and that old lady came up to me, and she was like, do you know how to use this thing? Can you show me? And I was trying to figure it out, and I had no clue, and then it fucking thing came on, and it was like, you guys need to go back to your seats, or you're gonna miss the.
In my assessment of those people was one of two things: either they were super fans, which is totally possible, but my other guess was that these were people that were in the industry back in the day.
Maybe they just wanted something to go to. I don't know.
It could be. It could be. But there were so many older people wearing, like, Animaniacs shirts.
Yeah.
Like the guy that was right in front of us with the ponytail.
Yeah.
He was wearing a Pinky and the Brain shirt that looked like it was older than me.
Yeah, he looks like those people they make fun of in that
Yeah,
show.
but but is he just a super fan of the Animaniacs, or was he... I'm guessing he was probably worked as an animator or something. I wouldn't be surprised if there were... couple animators in that crowd.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Like,
but,
imagine, like, for example, you and me have worked somewhat in the entertainment industry. Mm-hmm. We worked on G4.
Yeah.
And we live out here in Whittier.
Uh-huh.
You would think people who worked in TV wouldn't, like, live out here. You know what I mean?
Sure, they made the trip out.
The trip out to La Mirada. I gotta say, it was a small theater, too.
Yeah.
So it seemed pretty intimate, even though we were in the back.
Yeah, and there was extra seats open, too. They sold out of the first show. And luckily they opened a second show, or else we wouldn't have been able to go. And there was actually a couple seats open. So, I mean, it was cool. It wasn't like super crowded. And
No, remember that they did the Q&A afterwards.
Yeah,
which is that was nice of them. They didn't have to do that.
Yeah, it was cool, especially since when the show first started, it was just Rob, and he was doing his countries of the world or whatever. And
it was Rob and the other dude, which I you know what, I feel really bad that I didn't memorize.
Yeah, we'll look it up. We'll add it in post. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, that guy's super talented. He wrote all the music for Animaniacs, but it was just him and Rob for a while. And it was like 30 minutes of that, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is still cool. You know, it's Yakko, he's the main guy, and he's, you know, it's still cool. But then, like, 30 minutes in, he introduced Wacko, and everyone in the room just
lost it.
Just released fluids.
Everybody lost it.
Yeah, it was like...
To be honest, if you've never seen James before...
Jesse
Harnell. Sorry, if you've never seen Jesse, the one time you meet him or see him,
you'll
never forget
Google
him.
Search an image of that guy. And
he's insane looking. And at the
looks
same
more
time,
ridiculous.
You're like, of course he voices
every year that guy gets more ridiculous looking. And then he introduced Dot as well, and I was like, oh my god, they got everybody, including they did a song where Dr. Scratch and Sniff is driving them. He's driving them to the circus.
That's right.
So he's playing Dr. Scratch and Sniff and Yakko in the same song, and it was just a really well done song.
It was so insane because, like, not for all of them, because they not only did they do some of the songs that you know and are well known and everything, they did a couple of variations of things that didn't get to the cartoon or anything.
The LA Dot song.
Yeah, the LA Dot and how it changed and everything. So there was a couple of songs that Yakko sang that didn't have cartoons or anything, but I swear I closed my eyes like maybe once or twice and be like, dude, it's like cartoon.
Yeah,
it's like he hasn't lost a step.
Yeah, that's what's pretty insane. Is that guy is like he's older, you know, right. He's got a lot of gray hair, and he still does the voices perfectly, and he still has like an amazing singing voice. I'm like, that's crazy, man.
He just never loses it, and it was. Because it was a Animaniacs Live thing, there wasn't really an age, I guess, restriction. So they made a couple of like little raunchy jokes. Mostly.
Oh yeah, I remembered what he said. I had been trying to remember it like all week. He said this is he was pointing at the guy who wrote some of the songs, and he says this is the guy that was putting words in my mouth, and then he said something like, as long as that's all he puts in my mouth. Yeah. And then he said, good night, everybody. And I was like, oh, wow. They did a live one. They did a live good night, everyone. Who would have thought?
That's so cool. I gotta say, I never got, like, when I first started hearing those jokes, I never got them. And the more I watch it, because it's on Netflix now, I think the day synced up with when, last year when they put Animaniacs on Netflix. I never got how funny those jokes were until like now.
Yeah, they did a lot of jokes about like actors that I had never heard of and stuff, and like that whole the Rita and Runt intro goes through like Abbott and Costello, Sonny and Cher, all these duos that I wouldn't have known as a kid, but now I'm like, oh, look at that. It's a very cleverly written song.
Yeah, and you know all those songs and the symphonies and everything, they were old timey sounding. You know, they were like big band, like stuff you would hear from like the Rat Pack and stuff.
Yeah, like some of the songs were melodies that are like pretty well known, like the countries of the world or the countries of the fucking United States, whatever.
Yeah. No, it's countries of the world.
Yeah, I messed that.
And then it's the United States.
And then it's the states of the countries.
Huh?
Okay.
I think the Q&A at the end was really, really nice of them to do, because the more I meet actors and the more I meet professionals, especially ones that are like famous or whatever, I understand more of the struggle that's like so many people want to tell you I love you because you meant a lot to me in their life, and then like you're like, I don't know you and I don't know.
Yeah, I know,
you know, but that's really sweet of you.
There was that one person that started off with like I was born in the year 2000, and I was like, oh my god, dude, like they only have like 15 minutes for this Q&A. Are you really gonna start your question? Which, okay, like, she sped it up. It was fine, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure that they had to prepare for the next... I'm sure they have to take a break, because singing takes a lot out of you and all that kind of stuff. And it was nice of them to do the 20 minutes afterwards for the Q&A. And but some of the people that were wasting time, like just saying "I love you," I was like, "Come on, they only got 20 minutes. Let's answer some real questions and blah blah." And to be honest, none of the questions were very groundbreaking.
I was like, I was like, what do I ask them that they haven't been asked like a million times? Because people were just
like the thing I wanted to know, like the most, like, and this is way after, you know, and if I knew that they were doing a Q&A, maybe I would have thought of a question ahead of time. But I was like, considering how much has changed between then and now, like, do they wish voice recording and all that stuff was better then or better now? Because remember at the beginning of the show,
what do you mean? You mean like if you wish they had the technology they have now back then, or what?
No, just like okay, so back then, they recorded with a live orchestra.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, at the top of the show, remember Rob was like, and now you can just synthesize everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he misses that. You know, singing with a live orchestra must be... But, you know, I don't know...
By the way, if you guys have the chance to go see a live orchestra, go. Because it's like...
It's amazing.
It's really crazy hearing all of that come together, like, on stage. And I don't know. It's like a really surreal experience to see all those instruments and believing that, like, that sound just coming out from it. You know, it's such a full sound. It's really cool.
And don't ever underestimate anybody that plays, like, the xylophone or the chimes or anything. Because I gotta tell you, in the whole orchestra, there's this dude in the back, and he was doing the little, like, like, in the songs, they would have the little xylophones hit on those little parts.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, the whole sound together with those little quips.
The dude that was doing the chimes, every time Yakko points to a country, he would do the little chime. And I was like, man, that's crazy. He's got to have, like...
You know, and don't downplay, like, because, you know, it might look like he's just kind of hitting bells or whatever, but man, that was... I can't imagine that performance without him, because it sounded so good.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
You know,
it was definitely an amazing afternoon, and I like that a lot of older people brought their kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of the kids were, like, engaged.
And I don't know. There was a kid next to us who was like crawling around in his chair, and I was like, man, bring this kid. No offense, okay? I know it's for kids. I know I'm a fully grown man, and I'm
not really,
cartoons.
because I think the Animaniacs live show was for all ages, obviously, because it's like, if you've seen this cartoon, and it's not on air anymore, it's on Netflix, so you have to want to see it, you know, because...
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. It's not like it's Yo Gabba Gabba or anything. It's like, oh, the kids want to see Yo Gabba Gabba. You know, like, kids that watch that as kids are maybe teenagers now.
Yeah.
You know? But I think...
Well,
I think some of the kids enjoyed it. Some of the kids were just like, why are there people singing at us? You know, it's a different generation, but I'm glad they brought their kids, really.
Probably all into that EDM shit, you know? They're probably asking where Porter Robinson is and when he's going to come out.
I'm really glad that I don't know who that is.
Oh, you know what's cool? Jesse Harnell had a really cool story about when he first interviewed.
Oh, yeah,
he said he walked in and he saw the three Animaniacs, like, I guess, like cardboard cutouts or some kind of drawing of them. And he said, that guy's not wearing pants. I want to play that guy. And that was it.
And you know what? It kind of dawned on me that, oh, yeah, Yakko wears pants and Dot has a little skirt on. And there's one's no pants. Yeah.
But how crazy is that? He just had that, like, connection right away. He was just like, that's my guy.
That's the guy.
That's me right there.
And by the way, him doing the voice of the Beatles was pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
He's a professional, man.
And there's, like, when he was asked in his interview, can you do the Beatles? He's like, which one?
Yeah.
And then he made the distinction between them all. Dang, what a talented person. And he said something really cool, because one of the kids asked kind of a, you know, it's a kid question.
Yeah.
And he said, how do you do the voices?
Oh, yeah.
And that was like it, and how do you answer that question? But he had this really, like, nice answer for the kid. He said, it's kind of like drawing. But you choose the what did he say? Something about having a bunch of crayons in your head.
You have a box of crayons in your head, and you got to choose which one to color with.
Exactly.
That was
and
him.
I thought that was like... And everybody was like, oh, like, and the crowd was like, oh,
yeah.
And then Rob was like, man, that is just a beautiful analogy. And it was really good, because it was like, oh, yeah, I understand. Like, he has all these different crayons in his head that, you know, however he got them.
Literally.
But then he just figures out which one he wants to kind of use it. And you know what? I will never understand that kind of thing. Like, you know when people do music? Like, they just sit down and write some music. I'll never know.
That's how the dude that did all the music. I'm sorry, we don't know this guy's name.
I know, but he's great and very talented.
He had
awesome.
He had all these examples of him just in his life, and he was looking at. But he said like he saw like a little globe or something that his son had, and he was like, "Oh, maybe I should write a song about all the countries." And I'm like, and then he just did it. Like, that's insane.
And then remember he said there was.
The earthquake.
The earthquake happened, and he was like, I should run a song about an earthquake.
Yeah.
And his kids were fighting in the back seat of his car, and he's like, you know what, I should run a song about the Animaniacs fighting in the back seat of the car.
How insane is that? That's a true professional.
And that's the thing. Like, some people tell me, I don't, like, because you and me are artists, people tell us all the time, how do you draw? And I was like, what do you mean, how do I draw? He's like, how do you start drawing? He's like, well, I just have something in my head that I want to put on the canvas, and I just start. I start doing that because I have this process. And that's what the way that people tell me that is the way I would say that to somebody who does music. I was like, how do you just start?
Well, drawing is easy. You just
music.
Just
do it.
Think about breasts, and then the drawing comes out. It's easy as that.
It's not that easy. Just but yeah, that was an amazing time. Thanks again for getting us the tickets.
Oh yeah.
How did you get the? Whose Twitter did you follow that alerted you to that?
Oh no, it was actually our niece. She was there with her mom, and she saw like the Animaniacs like on a little playbook or something.
Dude, you'd think somebody would announce that.
And she said Uncle Steve really likes those dogs.
Those dogs.
Yeah, those little. Cause I don't know what they are. Nobody knows what they are.
You know what? That was a song that I would have loved to have heard.
Like what they are?
Yeah.
Was it?
That was in the first episode of the
monkeys or something.
No, that was I think that's in the third or fourth episode where they don't know what to say. The monkeys won't do.
Yeah.
The one that I wanted to hear was, "What are you?" And it was like, maybe we are dogs, maybe we're cats.
Oh yeah,
maybe,
that's right.
Like, and they go through everything, and then I think the last line is, "What we are is cute," and that's how they end it. Is that because you never know if they're dogs, but as you can tell by the drawing that we did for the podcast, we are very big fans of the Animaniacs.
We like to rip off of their show.
Oh jeez! Please don't sue us, Warner Brothers. Although I don't think they'll find this podcast.
Yeah. You know what was cool too is how you were saying that Jesse was he was answering questions that were the kids' questions. He was answering them with good metaphors and all that.
Mm-hmm.
There was one question where he just said, he just responded with, if you have a passion in your heart to do something, it's there for a reason, and you owe it to yourself to go out and try it. And
he finished with that.
Yeah, and I was just,
like, wow.
I was like, damn, dude, this guy's just, this guy's insane, dude.
I know, he says things like that, then he was passing out dollar bills like he was in a strip club.
He's just like a silly dude, but then when it comes down to it, he's like a super passionate, like well-spoken individual. It's insane.
It's a weird mismatch of a person.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't think that somebody that was... He came out and made a strip club reference.
Yeah.
Right when he came out.
Yeah.
Because he told him, he's like, Jesse, you can't be handing out dollar bills like you're in a strip club. And he's like, why not? He just started handing out money or whatever. I thought that was really fun. He's just a...
Very charismatic
dude. And he was... Okay, so just to kind of highlight what a kind of person he is. Rob was wearing some nice jeans, like a blue shirt, and then like a blazer, right?
Yeah,
And Tress was wearing sort of the same thing, like a nicer top and then some jeans.
Yeah.
She had her hair done nicely. And then, but when Jesse came out, he was wearing... Like, you ever see Leisure Suit Larry?
Yeah. It was completely red, like suede. It was like suede, right?
It was like a suede reflective jumpsuit.
Yeah, like a red suit.
Yeah, and it had like studs in it.
Yeah.
And the guy has long metal-looking hair.
Yeah, like long curly hair.
And it's just...
if you can imagine that, if you haven't already Google searched it.
Yeah, imagine like an Elvis
painted a picture
type
for you.
Yeah, it's like an Elvis type of getup he was in. It was crazy.
And he's kind of chubby. So.
Yeah, just kind of chubby, I guess.
He had the shirt open a little bit too, so...
Because you gotta have that open so you can show.
He's a very confident man. He's a man with confidence.
Oh jeez. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time overall.
Very cool. Very inspiring night. Or
it was the middle of the day because again it was and it was funny. My friend, one of my friends, Brianna, she went to the 7:00 show.
Oh, cool.
And so she had the same thing, like she was watching it. So it was nice.
Since the last podcast we recorded, the Switch came out too, and everyone's been talking about Zelda nonstop.
Yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to ask your opinion. Like, I think, are in this weird console because like console wars have been a thing since we were kids, right? It's like the first one we were in was like Nintendo and Sega, and then now it's Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation.
I remember when Xbox came out and Halo came out. Everyone was like, "If you're still playing Nintendo, you're a little bitch. Like you cannot be playing that. Like, you know what I mean?"
Jeez, and then didn't it like kind of scream of like, if you're still playing Mario when there's Sonic?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you're just playing little baby games.
I mean, I don't know. Halo was cool and all, but you know, Nintendo's always going to be Nintendo. But yeah,
I mean, it's interesting the strategy that Nintendo's taking. They're kind of seeing that kids play on tablets more. They're seeing that they like to have mobility.
I feel like they do. I almost feel like they prefer like just apps to toys in general nowadays. You know, like
yeah, because I don't know if that's better or worse, but I feel like our nephews and niece like to play on those more than being kind of what is it?
Wired to like a machine or like...
Yeah, like they don't want to sit in front of a TV. They kind of want to be on the couch or outside, or if they want to be like on their bed, but they want to be playing with this tablet.
Well, they got the Switch now. They can go wherever they want with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, I've been taking the Switch everywhere. And just, it's so easy to just pop that thing out, play for like 20, 30 minutes, and then pop it back into my
I will
bag.
say, the only thing that really sucks about it is that I haven't played my 3DS in like since it came out.
It's almost sitting right here, and I haven't played it in a while.
Like almost like I guess that was their plan, is just to replace the 3DS.
I guess. I mean, to be honest, it does fill that gap of being able to take it with me.
Yeah.
But switching between, I gotta say, like everything that was in the trailer and the marketing campaign there was no lying. It's like you literally pop it in when you get home and play on the big screen.
Yeah,
I think the only part of the Switch that's been kind of bad is the connection between the Joy-Cons and the screen.
Oh yeah, everyone's having problems with that.
I've been having some problems, but it's nothing that hasn't been fixed by like restarting the system.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm a lucky person because, whatever.
Yeah, mine works okay too. No, I don't know. It's fine.
When I notice that my Joy-Cons are a little out of sync is when like I'm pushing a button and there's a bit of a delay in the response. So that's when I just go, okay, save, restart the system. It's only happened a couple times. Not too many. Nothing to kind of worry about. But
I just wish there were more games for it, man.
Yeah, it's. Like, I think
I finished Zelda and I'm kind of like, what the hell do I do now with this thing? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's that is true. Like, what is it? What comes out next week? Next week we got Mario Kart 8 coming out.
Is that next week already?
I believe so. It's April 28th.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and then Splatoon is in May or June.
I think Splatoon's. It might be June.
I think it's the end of June. So I think they're sparring it out every like 2 months. They'll have a new game.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. It's like I've already played Mario Kart 8, and if I want to have like 3 more decent controllers, it's like another $80 each.
Yeah,
it's gonna be like $1 million for like a real setup for Mario Kart.
Well, you can play Mario Kart with just one Joy-Con.
I'm not gonna do that, dude.
Okay, listen.
That thing is so small. I might as well play on my phone.
Well, to be honest, like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna play side by side. Like, if you want to play with me...
Yeah, if it's just us two. I mean, we have 2 controllers.
By the way, like, when we used to play on the Wii U, right? Uh-huh. Remember, one of us would play on the Wii U pad, because it was cool. Like, you'd have your own screen. So why wouldn't you just do that?
Yeah, the gamepad's cool.
Yeah.
I actually like the gamepad. A lot of people said that it felt like some kind of, like, child's toy, like some VTech, like, leapfrog.
To be honest, I really enjoy having the Joy-Cons independent in each hand.
Yeah.
Because I was probably one of the few people that actually liked the Wii setup, with the nunchuck.
I like that too, actually. Yeah.
I used to play Smash Brothers that way, the Smash Brawl.
Yeah.
I really like that because when you play Zelda, you can aim. Like when you pull out the bow and arrow, you can actually aim by moving one Joy-Con freely, and then the other one I have, you can strafe and move. But since you don't have to, like, if you were playing on the Wii U, you'd have to move the whole screen in your hand. But because you only have to move your right hand to aim.
Only one of them has motion?
No, they both have motion. But the thing is that when you take out your arrows, it's only controlled by the right Joy-Con. So you just have to move the right Joy-Con to aim.
Actually, I remember when they did they added those gyro controls to Twilight Princess HD.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually worked really well. They actually were like, I was actually like, oh, I don't mind this. It actually helps out a little bit. Like it's almost like, I mean, a bit of a stretch, but it's kind of like a mouse. Like
yeah, That's kind of what I felt because I felt like I could move freely and then keep. I know what you mean by that mouse and keyboard thing because you move the mouse and yet you have your hand stationary on the keyboard.
Yeah, like just straight.
So it's two independent movements, and I feel like that's a little closer. Like I couldn't do it too well on the Wii U because it was still attached with a cord.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of restraint, but this feels a lot better. And
you mean on the Wii?
On the Wii, sorry. And but you could use it on the Wii U too. Something I used to play on the Wii U where I really liked the fact that you had two controllers, but the cord is what bugged me. Like there wasn't a lot of length between it, and now that you have them separately, it functions so much better. Like for example, I played the Splatoon Global Test Fire, and dude, just having them separate.
I honestly can't play like that. I think they're too small.
No, they are really small. They are, and that's gonna turn off a lot of people because like if they got like giant hands the size of gorillas.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult, so they probably should grab like
I have normal size hands.
Okay, I'm just...
those things are pretty small,
They are small. I like the size of them. They fit right in the hand. Especially when you play 1-2 Switch.
When they have that little dog thing that you can put it on?
Yeah.
The little, like, plastic... It's not plastic. Or it is plastic, right?
Yeah, it's a plastic little
You just slide them into, like, a controller base thing.
Mm-hmm.
That thing's actually pretty cool. I was playing with that for a while, and then... When I bought the Pro controller, I was like, "Oh, this is actually a real controller." I haven't used a real controller on a Nintendo console in a long time.
But I still feel like I like the two-handed setup because, now when I play my Xbox One, I feel like a little more constrained because I have my hands together as opposed to separate. Like I would love to play with my two hands separate like that because I feel like I'm more responsive that way almost. If my hands are relaxed, as opposed to like in front of me. Like put together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
we played Metal Slug. I got Metal Slug and we played
No, that was pretty fun.
We played with the low controllers because that game is like okay, you move back and forth, you throw grenades and you shoot like it's.
Yeah, I think they're building their virtual console pretty fast because every week they have 6 more games.
No, this week they only had 1 actually.
Which was what?
I don't know, some Neo Geo game. I honestly wish they would just throw all the NES Classic games on there because they said they're discontinuing that. They might as well just throw all the games. Oh,
right.
Yeah.
I think that's a very
stupid move.
It's a stupid and a brilliant move. It's stupid for the consumer because people have still been trying to get their hands on that thing, but smart in the fact that it's been discontinued, and then there's rumors of the Super Nintendo Mini. So now people are like, well. They've already cut it off once, so this is definitely a limited time, thing. And to be honest, I'm like...
Why can't they just make more? Have they ever thought of that?
I think they're just trying to create, another story. Because for the last how many consoles, there's been a shortage.
Yeah, they what was it? Easy Allies were saying that. They said there's so many things, there's so many Nintendo stories that you can just swap out the console or the gadget, whatever, and it's the same story. It's like Amiibo shortage or like Zelda 2 shortage, Super Mario Brothers 2 shortage, and
I think they've understood that they have a certain amount that they're gonna sell. I mean, do I think they're doing it maliciously? Like they're trying to always create a shortage, or is it that they're?
I don't know, because
Like
I feel like they have these meetings and they're just like, oh, this we're just gonna have all these little games on this little thing, and it's gonna be really cool and collectible. Let's make like 10. You know, like I don't think people want.
I don't think really people
Yeah.
want this. I don't know if they're doing it maliciously. I don't feel like it. I feel like they're a humble company, and they don't think they're gonna sell as many as they're gonna sell.
Either that, or like they found out that people have been putting like Sega and Super Nintendo on it, and they were just like, all right, we need to cut this off. Because if they put Super Nintendo on there, then we're not going to be able to sell
I'll believe that if the Super Nintendo Mini has some sort of lockout feature.
Well, you know what would be
cool?
But
they made it so easy to put 600 plus games on that system.
I will say this. I mean, there's... The Super Nintendo one has already been confirmed, right? Like,
no,
practically...
it's still rumors.
It's still rumors?
Yeah.
Well, it would... I don't think it'd be crazy of them to make another NES classic that came with like a zapper for Duck Hunt or something.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know, I don't know how that would work.
Because supposedly the technology they use to do the zapper doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work on flat screens. It only worked on CRTs.
Right.
But I don't know, like if they made it with like all those like peripherals or something. If they made like a
Power Glove.
Like what else do they have? Power Glove. Okay, never mind.
Rob the Robot.
Yeah, maybe not. Okay. Look at the zapper, maybe. You know.
Well.
Power Pad. How about that, huh? With
awful.
A little cord.
It would be freaking awful.
With a little cord. It doesn't even
like that.
Can't even get to the ground.
No, I don't want the Power Pad ever to come back. Even though, as kids, we had a lot of fun with it.
I really liked it when I was a kid.
It was such a novelty.
Yeah.
You know, like the person who was... It was really funny because like when we were kids and we had the Power Pad, I remember the only person that was super good at it was our oldest sister.
Yeah.
She was the one that we would be like, you have to come and beat the... Like, we had that 3-in-1 game that was like Mario, Duck Hunt, and then World Track?
Yeah, that's like the most common... I think that's the most common NES game is that one. The one that has all three.
That one? Okay, so that one... And then there was different levels. Each runner that you would have to race against had a different name. And I think the last one was Cheetah.
Okay.
I think
an animal?
Yeah, it would go like rabbit, turtle. Like it would go turtle was the first guy you fought. That was his name, you know. But I remember we'd always have to call her to race that guy because she was the only one who could run that fast. I mean, I never did the thing where you get on the floor and hit it with your hands. I've heard that a lot of people do that. I never did that.
There's no shame in admitting you cheated.
No, right? No. Like, I cheated. Like, especially with the long jump.
No, I remember.
Remember it was like 1,
I remember
2, and then you just jump off the pad.
We used to put the zapper right up to the screen and
okay, that's different. That's different because that would, see, I'm not ashamed of that. I just never thought that it would read you hitting it with your hands.
You know what's funny? I bet there's a bunch of kids that grew up with the Wii that think the same thing, you know? Like, as adults we think, oh, the Wii is gimmicky, or like, oh, hey, the Power Pad, that was such a gimmick. But as a kid, if they grew up with the Wii, they're probably like, man, it was so cool when I was a kid, like motion controls.
I mean,
and, like,
I still like the Wii. I still like the whole like nunchuck thing. Like there was so many games on there that I won't forget now because I think they were really, really innovative. Like what was it? The game that started on the 3DS, which was the Operation game. What was it called again? Under the Knife. Trauma Center Under the Knife.
Trauma Center.
The best version of that was on the Wii.
Think so?
It was, because the way that you picture instruments on the DS is there was a little side menu, and you would click the menu icon, and it would change your instrument, right? But on the Wii, you just had to move the nunchuck joystick, and that would pick the instrument you had. So instead of having to go and click and come back, you would just move the peripheral. And plus, you use the forceps the way you think you would on the Wii controller. You pressed A and B to clinch, and then you would release it. Just like it just felt like a much better version of the game.
That's cool.
Not to mention, in that game, you had to draw symbols to activate his doctor powers. And you never played it? Like on the DS, and the DS, you had to do like you know how as a kid you could do a star by doing like this shape like this?
Yeah, like the number 4 and then...
Yeah. So you do that on the screen with the Wii because
that's ridiculous. I didn't know that game got into that.
Yeah, and like you would sew
It's like
He
Castlevania.
was so by like moving the Wii controller back and forth.
I knew that. I just didn't know he had magical powers.
Well, he got them at the very end of the game where he could slow down time and concentrate.
And
that was the thing. And that was the thing. Like you had to.
If you get all the Chaos Emeralds at the end.
Yeah, exactly. How did you know?
Yeah.
No, but because you could do that a lot faster just by like moving the Wii in a motion, it was easier than actually drawing it out on the 3DS. So I actually beat the game first on the Wii and then went back on the 3DS. It was a better version of it altogether. Right? Yeah. But I think that the Switch is like the culmination of the last two consoles.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that the Switch is like what the Wii U should have been.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I agree with that. I mean, I still like my Wii U. The only problem I really had with the Wii U is that it was really slow. Like, moving from like even the main menu to like system settings takes like 30 seconds. It's so I don't know what happened.
It is pretty slow, and I think the Switch does a much faster job of moving between menus.
Mm-hmm.
I love how it holds your game, and then you can just drop right back in.
I guess all modern consoles do that now, right?
Somewhat, but I think like for Xbox and PlayStation, you can move in between all sorts of games. But the Wii the Switch only does it with one. Like if you come back, it'll close one software and open up another one.
You can have multiple things on Xbox?
Yeah. So if I'm in Netflix, I can move over into like Battlefield 1 and it'll pick up where I left off.
Oh, that's crazy.
But you can only have like an app that does like, you know, movies or whatever.
Oh, only
is different than
a
game at the same time.
You can only have one game.
Exactly. One game, but one app and like one menu, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, because I play everything on computer. So I've just like... I play everything on computer, and then I just get the Nintendo console because I can't get that stuff on computer. Yeah,
exactly.
You know?
I mean, that's the only reason I still play Nintendo games, because like I still want to play Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Because when's the last time you played a really good platformer?
I played ukulele the other day, actually.
You got that game?
No, one of my friends got it. I was playing it at my friend's house.
How is it?
It's okay. I think it's getting a lot of bad reception.
How come? It's
I don't know. I've only played the first level, and the first level seemed pretty cool to me. So
did it feel like Banjo-Kazooie to you?
Kind of, but the intro's pretty slow. I'll say that. Like there's a lot of unskippable cutscenes and a lot of talking that, you know.
Are they trying to be funny in it?
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like since I don't expect it from modern games, maybe I'm just not used to that anymore, you know. But like having to read every line of speech, I'm kind of like I don't really care. I just want to play, you know. Like I've just become an impatient millennial kid, you know, because of all these modern games.
Yeah, I guess so.
But it's still I like the little characters and stuff, and I think it looks pretty nice. Controls really well. But I don't know. I'll play more of it.
I'm really excited to play Mario Odyssey. I gotta say, like,
yeah, it looks
just
good.
The trailer had me so amped. I don't know what it is about the idea of Mario in some sort of weird HUD world where he's in a city and in a desert or whatever. I don't know why that still excites me more than a bunch of like FPS games. I don't know if I'm just a fanboy or if it's something about the way Nintendo does platformers that I really like.
I don't know. I've always enjoyed platformers. Like, I will always buy into that. You know, like if Mario comes out with a new platformer, I'm gonna get it.
Because the other day, well, not the other day, but I think it might have been a couple weeks ago, my niece came over and she wanted to play something. I was like, oh, let's play Mario 3D World, the one with the cats. And she was having a blast.
Yeah, I like that game.
And what's really funny is that when she went home, I remember our sister was telling us that she was really upset because she's like, I want to play the Mario game, but she had her iPad out.
Oh yeah, she thought it was on a tablet.
And she thought it was a tablet because she was playing it on the Wii U, and she thought that was a tablet. You know, so I mean, there's something to the Nintendo strategy because she associated the two. But she said still had a ball playing that game. You know, and I think that's why Nintendo
that game's just. I like that game. Don't get me wrong. It just sucks when you play with like a bunch of people because you guys can like bump into each other and stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely not a 4-player game. But I gotta say, when I played it by myself and I was just knocking out world after world after world, I was just like, I have so much fun playing this.
Super fun, good vibes kind of game. Like
yeah, I don't know. It's just like
it's really relaxing.
It's the same crap that I've played for years, which is like, okay, here's the green world where everything's green, and now the ice world, and now blah blah blah. And yes, it's the same thing over and over and over again. But for some reason, I still enjoy playing it. And more recently, they've come up with, oh, this is the candy world, and this is this. But they've amped the curve for the difficulty is really nice. Like, they start you off, yeah, this is the new world, and they introduce all the elements in a way where you're like, okay, gradually you're learning that this is now an element that you can use. This is like, and you keep going up and up and up.
Yeah, they've always had a good level design.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. I just love playing a game that introduces you and then challenges you to use it.
Yeah, like
I think that's why I like Zelda Breath of the Wild, because
somebody pointed something like that out to me the other day, that like the first level in Mario 64 and the first level in Banjo-Kazooie, they don't have pitfalls. You can't fall off the map.
No, yeah, that's right.
So it's like a good way to ease you into the controls. They don't allow you to fall off yet.
It's like a hub. It starts you out somewhere. Yeah.
No, I don't mean the hub. I mean Bomb on Battlefield in Mario 64.
Oh, I understand what you're saying.
There's no pitfalls.
Right.
You can't fall.
But you can fall. You can fall, like that little bridge area. But the consequences aren't death. It's like, oh, you have to start again.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're introducing every single element in that level.
Yeah, the same with Banjo.
Exactly.
The first level is Mumbo's Mountain, I think.
Yes.
And there's no pitfalls, which I was like, oh, that's cool. I never even noticed that.
Really? There is it. Yeah. There's the termites and then the cuts, and there's no place to fall. Although there is a place where you can fall into a lower level and then you have to climb back up.
Yeah.
Just like in Mario. It's true. Yeah. I mean, and I guess that's the same with Breath of the Wild. I mean, there's a reason that I really liked playing that game. And I'm still playing it because I freaking like walking around in that world.
It is cool. I will say, I don't mean to nitpick it already and be negative, but I think the only thing I really wish for would be more enemies.
Like, Zelda has such enemies?
Yeah, it has such a huge catalog of enemies, and all I really saw was like Boko Goblins and Lizalfos, like...
Yeah,
like
there were variations of all of them.
The other games had likes, and they had like those armored dudes.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, there was just or those things on Death Mountain, those little spider guys.
Yeah, they had a plethora of things because everywhere you went there was a variation of those like 6 enemies.
Yeah.
Like the bats, somewhere they're electrified, somewhere they're on fire.
Yeah, and those the Hinox things, those big like troll things.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, that thing's cool, right? And then I saw that skeleton thing, and I was like, oh man, that's something cool too. And I was like, oh wait, it's just the troll thing, but like in a different skin. Okay, whatever. That's still cool.
When you get to Death Mountain, you find like somewhat of a variance on that, where it's like the molten lava dudes.
Oh, it's those rock guys.
Yeah, but they move very similar.
Yeah.
It's like a big dude coming after you.
But I think I'm only saying that now after the fact, Like after I've done everything, because when I was first playing that game...
Well, have you done everything? Have you actually fought those dragons? I haven't fought the dragons yet.
You don't fight them.
So what are they doing around there? Like, are you supposed to catch them?
You throw a Pokeball at them.
All right. I understand that I haven't.
Yeah, you swipe up on your phone and you catch them. No, you throw arrows at them and like parts of them come off. So like you could collect a scale or like a talon or something. They're shrine quests basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
And you know what I found a lot of people complained about the shrines and like. They were like, oh, I gotta do these puzzles at every shrine. I enjoyed them. And I don't know
why would you play in Zelda if you don't like puzzles?
Well, yeah, I mean, some of them are easy, some of them are hard, but I always found myself liking the puzzles in those things. But some people are complaining, oh, another puzzle. It's like, that's kind of the
Do people
thing.
really complain about that? I don't...
Yeah, no, a couple, like, I had some friends, one of my old designer buddies was like, hey, do you really like the Breath of the Wild? I was like, yeah, I really do. And he was saying like, I got into a thing about like completing as many of the temples as I could. I was like, well, you don't have to do them, but there's just like, they're a way to power yourself up. and he complained. He was like, I'm kind of tired of doing them. And we're like, oh, okay, yes. But I
maybe because they all look the same. I don't know.
Maybe
I could see how that could be kind of,
because some of them are repeats of the same one, like the tests of strength.
Yeah. You know what's really cool though is like I keep seeing videos online of people like with these really creative ass solutions to a certain puzzle. Like,
yeah, not everybody beat the temples in the same way.
Yeah, I saw this guy putting those Octorok balloons or whatever.
Yeah.
Things that make things float.
Yeah, that was crazy when I saw that.
He put it on a bomb or something, and then he used the wind from a leaf to like blow it towards this wall, and then he like jumped off a cliff and blew himself up in the air, and he knocked himself over like a wall. It was insane. But I was like, oh, that's so cool that like you can do that just because the engine allows you to do stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, actually, I saw one of the I saw that somebody was able to, first of all, like they do the stasis thing on a rock, right? And then they hit the crap out of it so it turns red. Yeah. And then they climbed on it. Yeah. And then that allowed them to rocket themselves into another area they weren't supposed to be able to get to.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I was like, dude, this is nuts that this is part of the game.
I think there's a lot of really cool things in that game that work just because of like the engine. Like what I'm trying to say is like I'm impressed that like things just make sense in that game.
There's a logic to the game that allows you to solve problems just by thinking, okay, this is how this works, so this should work.
Yeah, like when I don't really know how to explain it, but like things light on fire and like you have like multiple ways of starting fires. You have flint and like wood and all this stuff that like works.
Like one of the temples is covered in thorns, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, there was this is a perfect example because you and I got into a certain temple two different ways. There's a certain temple that is kind of in your first set of temples,
the one
where
in the
it's
water?
like in the water, and it's got spikes coming out, right? And what I did was I made an ice tower right in front of it because it was in the water. I climbed up the ice tower and just jumped over the spikes.
Yeah, and I remember you told me that, and I was like, why didn't I think of that? Because
what did you do?
There's like a huge ladder, like there's like a tower thing next to it, and I jumped off of that and I just floated all the way down to it. But I guess because I saw that thing and I thought, oh, that's obviously the way to get in here. I didn't even think about just
Then see that was the thing. I was like, yeah, why wouldn't he think to do that? Especially considering you have these runes and you just throw the runes at it. And what I mean is throw the runes at it is like you try the runes to see if you can get through a puzzle. I thought that was kind of expected as a like they give you all the runes in the beginning because they're like these are your tools to do anything in the world. And I thought about that again because in the first temple that I got it, well, I don't know if you want to call it a temple, but the Great Beast, the shrine.
Oh wait, you're talking about the Divine Beast?
Yeah, the Divine Beast. I was inside of it, and they said, "Oh, you need to get past this gate." So what I did is I stasised the gate because it glowed yellow, and I hit the crap out of it. And then when it released, it jumped up, but then it came back down. So when it went up, I just rolled under it and got into this area. And then you told me later that, it's in, like, the gate is a little bit in water. So you just use the freeze tower to open it. And I was like, what I mean.
There's like a lot of different ways to do things because they just kind of allow you to do that.
Yeah, and it's oh my gosh. The one that I was like, I cannot believe this is how you solve this was, I think this in the same Divine Beast thing. The way you can stop some of the rotating, like, water mills things is you just do an ice tower in a certain place.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
What did you do?
I just rode the damn things until a certain point and jumped off.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know to stop it so you could, like, be at it in a certain spot and get it. I just rode the thing until, like, it moved into the place I wanted, jumped off, and then floated into whatever area I needed it to be.
It's funny because me and you were talking about this the other day that, like, there are certain bands music artists, they can do the same shit over and over again, and they'll always sell records. And I almost felt like Zelda is, like, the same way. They could make the Zelda with the same formula like every year, and it would sell.
Sure.
But it's just really cool that Nintendo like took their time with this one. Yeah. And made it like completely different from like all the other ones. Like they threw a lot of Zelda traditions like out the window, and they just kind of made it like I don't know. It's really.
It's super apparent that they tried to throw out the formula as much as possible because Link's not even his main getup is blue.
Yeah, and he's right-handed.
Yeah. And he's still a silent protagonist in the whole thing, but his whole save Zelda is not really a save Zelda kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like
it's more like
do whatever you want.
Zelda finish her quest.
Okay, yeah.
It's not you're not there to save her because everybody's kind of whatever. It's more like complete what you were supposed to do, and everybody's trying to help you complete your task.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the game is so... It seems like this game was built to sell this system. Because I haven't played it on the Wii U. I'm sure it's fine on that system.
I heard it's pretty much the same, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same, but what I mean is, like, this feels like the theme of go anywhere and discover everything on yourself is the same thing about the Switch. It's like, take it with you. Go anywhere. There's no limit to where, other than the battery life, there's no, like, there should be no restrictions about where you can and can't go,
Sure, you're saying the theme was take it, like,
exactly.
Freedom, take it anywhere. Okay.
And that's kind of what they sold the system as. And the only thing that restricts you, really, in that game is how high you can climb. And, like, how much stamina you have, really.
Yeah.
Because you can almost climb anywhere in that game.
You know what was stupid, though? The other day, I just straight up hit an invisible wall.
Yeah.
And it just said, you can't go any further, and I was like, oh.
Okay. They're just super honest with you. They're like, you can't go. You can't go.
Just
all right.
Relax. You're getting too crazy.
You know what I thought was really cool? The side mission that I wish I had done earlier was Terrytown.
Oh, yeah, that one's very cool. That's the one where you find people, right? You have to find people with, like, certain names.
Mm-hmm. And bring them to the city, and then they literally build the city up. And you have these... I just felt like... I don't know what it was about that side mission that made me feel, like, super good about completing it.
That's what I was telling one of my friends. I was like, it's really cool that the side missions in this game almost feel like... they feel like Majora's Mask. Where, like, the side missions in Majora's Mask are, like just as good as story missions, almost. They have like, their own... Weight. Yeah, they have their own cinematic, and they have, like, their own little stories, and they have, like, personality. They're really cool.
Yeah, some of and I'm surprised at the range of them. Some are very whimsical. Like, oh, I need a birthday present for my sister, and blah, blah, blah. And they have a little scene of whatever. Those are whatever. Those are, like, little side missions. But then there's, like, the one where you have to buy a cake for a little girl because mom and dad are arguing. And she's like, I'm going to sell my soul to a monster if you don't get this one. I was like, whoa! What the hell?
I didn't do that one.
That was weird because that's in Terrytown, by the way. I don't know if you haven't played that, but like you go there at night, and mom and dad are having a discussion because dad gets home at night from work. But you literally have to sneak outside of their house, and then a prompt comes up, and it says listen, and you can like listen. And by the way, that's something that they teach you in the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, you can eavesdrop.
Eavesdrop on people. But if you try to walk up to them and talk to them, there's like, excuse me, we're having a conversation here.
Yeah.
And you have to go around. And I believe the cake that you have to give, I haven't looked it up, but I believe the cake you have to give them is one that you find on the wall from that, in one of the towns.
Oh, like those recipe posters?
Yeah, and the recipes on the wall.
I gotta say,
and by the way, that's crazy cool. There's just some on the wall.
I was gonna say, actually, those things suck. Like, I made one time, and I spent like a lot of times collecting the ingredients, like going different locations and collecting the ingredients for this.
Banana bread?
No, I think it was like a hearty soup or something that I found in a book.
Okay.
And it sucked. It was like 5 hearts. It was like you gained 5 hearts. I was like, are you serious? Like I could have got like one hearty truffle with like meat gives you like 12 hearts or something.
So far, the best soup that I've come up with, stew, I guess you'd say, is the pumpkin one, where the stew is in the pumpkin. The defense pumpkin one.
I think that's the one. Maybe it wasn't.
No, the defense pumpkin stew. If you make it right, it's like 20 hearts, and it gives you like three defense things up. So it's really good. All By the way, that whole cooking thing is so awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I absolutely love it, and there is a logic to how you cook it too.
Yeah, like
and what you can get out of it.
You kind of like stack the effects.
Yeah, and you can get like something that really, really gives you something good.
Like
you can
like a
do
boost
stamina.
in a certain thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that you can cook bread, the fact that you can make stews, the fact that you can, like, I don't know, that whole part of it made me want to cook more.
You know what's funny too is there was an E3 where all they did was talk about Zelda, right?
Mm-hmm. That's literally all they did is talk about Zelda.
Yeah, and I remember seeing that cooking part, and I was like, this looks stupid. I was like,
you know what? I had flashbacks.
I was like, I'm never gonna do this. And
I had flashbacks of the what is it? The Skyward Sword, where they were telling you, oh, if you collect 1 million of these, you can make your shield stronger and blah blah blah. And I was like, ugh.
Yeah, there was honestly like, I don't know. Even the durability on the items. When I first saw that, I was like, I don't know if I like that.
It's
but you know,
it's like, isn't that the same way they do
Minecraft?
Well, Minecraft, but what's the other game? The game that's super hard, something Souls.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. Isn't that the same way? Like your durability.
I don't know. Actually, I've never played that game.
Because this game felt very difficult, but not in the way where like, oh, I don't. It's not unfair. It just meant like, some of the bad guys are super difficult. Not the actual bosses in the shrines or the divine beast, but everything around them was super difficult.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, the main quest was actually pretty easy, but there was like some random bosses that I would fight out in the open that would just kill me in one hit.
Yeah, it's like meeting a Deathclaw in Fallout. It just mess you up,
yeah.
And you're just like, oh, well, I didn't know that was there.
Yeah.
I used to love finding the little nooks and crannies around the place, because the what are those the little leafy dudes?
Oh,
that was a joy to do, because
the Karoks.
The Karoks. Like you would, it's like it pleases that little OCD in you where you see 3 rocks and then a gap, and you're like, is there a rock around here? And you get a rock and you put it in the place, and it's like, hey, you found me. I was like, oh, see, yeah, of course I did.
Yeah. The only thing is, there was something that I did. I think it was the Colosseum. There's a Colosseum where you have to fight like a Lionel.
Uh-huh.
And the Lionels are really hard to beat.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Right? And then there was like this whole path of enemies leading up to the top, and all the way at the top, it was like a rock, and it was just a Karok. And I was like, are you serious? I did all that for this? Like, at least like a shrine or something.
You found me.
Yeah, I was like, great.
Well, I mean, I will say that I climbed up a pretty big mountain, and I found a stone, and I opened it, and they're like, hey, you found me. And I was like, okay. I get that, but like at this point, I found almost every good item, I think. At this point, I don't think I'm gonna find anything else that's like, oh my gosh, this is the best armor or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's what I was saying before, is like, the only reason I'm asking for more stuff is because I've already found everything, you know?
At least a variation of everything.
Yeah, like, right? I think I'm over like 100 hours in that game now, so I'm pretty sure.
I definitely am at 100 hours.
I'm pretty sure it's a good amount of content how it is. But I mean, and also they're doing a DLC,
which I already bought.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, it feels. The only thing that I didn't do was I didn't really do much of the horse, because I didn't really find.
What do you mean the horse?
The horse's stuff, where it's like, I trapped like 3 horses, or I captured 3 horses, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, this is cool, I'm riding a horse. But, I don't know, I never felt the need to go get my horse.
Oh, like, I would fast travels and stuff?
Yeah, because every time you fast travel, the horse doesn't go with you.
I use the horse a good amount.
Well, maybe it was just me then, because every time I would leave my horse and fast travel somewhere, I would be like, I would just see it on the map, and I was like, oh, that's so sad, my horse is like in the middle of nowhere.
And you know what's cool about this game too is we actually can use all those freaking amiibos that we bought.
Oh yeah, that was
opposed to just having them sit there and doing nothing.
That was fantastic.
We have all of the Zelda ones in front of your TV over there,
so I could just use them. I will say that was a very pleasant surprise. That first of all, I got the Wind Waker shield.
Yeah.
You got the Wind Waker outfit.
I have all the outfits now.
Yeah, that is so cool.
My favorite one by far is the original Zelda or the original
the one where he doesn't have pants
the
on.
hero clothes.
Yeah,
but yeah, you have like a
But doesn't that change his hair too? Like his hat changes. His
No,
hair.
I was hoping he would get brown hair, but it's still blonde.
Oh, it's still blonde.
Yeah, but it has that yellow stripe on it. It looks so cool. I love the brown shirt with the green tunic.
When you told me you found the hero shield, the one from Ocarina of Time,
With a Hylian shield.
and we went to go do that. Like you showed me exactly where it was.
Yeah, that part's cool. You know what's funny?
I have to say they didn't have to add that. They didn't have to do that whole little dungeon. They didn't have to add the whole. It's in the castle, and it's in the place that it would be. You know what I mean? There's like a little bit of a story behind that area.
Oh yeah, it says something like.
It says a person who defeats this monster will get their prize.
Yeah,
it's like shield.
It's like rewarded with the
Right, but that little area that they built in the mythos of Zelda is where a soldier who completes his training, that's his final test.
Yeah.
And because you defeat that thing, then you get the Hylian shield, which is supposed to be the shield that the guards of the palace get. So like, there's this whole little mythos in that area, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty neat, especially like you're saying because like you don't actually have to find that, right?
You don't.
Like they just
and that's the whole. That's the whole great thing about it is you don't have to do anything. There's no hand holding in that game.
Yeah, you could go fight Ganon in your underpants.
Exactly. I mean, and by the way, the Ganon fight, in my opinion, it was great. But if I hadn't been so utterly prepared for it, I think it would have taken that guy would have taken me down.
Yeah, like
because
I said, like I said, the main quest I think was actually, I think it was
yeah
pretty
because
easy.
every monster prepares you for that fight. If you do all 4 monsters, you're prepared by anything that Ganon throws at you because you use it all. Like all the skills in terms of not like a weapon that you use against him, but all the attacks that those beasts give you prepare you for Ganon.
Like the parry and stuff.
Exactly. By the way, the parry, fantastic. When you actually master that thing, it is so awesome.
I'm glad they added stuff like that. Like I really.
And again, you don't have to learn it.
Yeah, I was gonna. That's like more along what I was saying. It's just they just allow you to do stuff in this game. There's so much freedom there. Like the parry is something that you don't have to do. But if you're willing to just sit there and learn it, or like they give you that skill, they allow you to be good at it. I wish more games had that kind of theme to it, where they just allow you to become good at something.
But that rewards you so heavily. Like the reward for learning the parry is so good.
Yeah.
Because it allows you to deflect and sometimes reflect back. And learning when to dodge, oh my gosh. I don't think I could defeat a Lionel if I didn't have that dodge feature.
What I'm trying to say with that too is like, there's a lot of games nowadays that have like in fighting games and stuff, they have like comeback factors, you know? Mm-hmm. Like Marvel vs. Capcom had X Factor.
Right.
And you use X Factor and it makes you super strong and
fast.
It's kind of like an undeserved like
advantage.
Yeah. And I just, I don't know. It's not like it's undeserved, but because I know you both have. Well, it is
because you both kind of build it up.
I know you both have it or whatever, but it's just like, why wouldn't you just let them fight on their own? You know, like.
No, I understand, but this is more of a skill that you develop.
And like Street Fighter 4 had like the Ultra Meter.
Yeah.
Or like like even like not so much the same thing, but Overwatch has like. Ultimates.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I mean, it's not as bad, not nearly as bad, but like I was saying, I just like how Zelda and this iteration of Zelda is just you just hack and slash and you dodge and like that's
I mean,
there's no kind of like
the first Lionel I fought, when I fought him, I was like, if my weapons didn't break or if I just get this dodge down, I will get this guy. And I haven't felt that good, like that motivation to do something like that in a long time. Because in a lot of games, like for example, I stopped playing Fallout 4 because I felt like all I had to do was get a better weapon and I'd defeat this. Like anywhere I went,
you just drug yourself out in that game.
You could just drug yourself out, or I just need a better weapon, and I'll come back and blow that guy's head off.
Like another example,
didn't feel like any skill was required in that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because another example was God of War had like a Titan mode.
Oh yeah,
where
and you just
like,
smash that
like
and you're good to go.
Yeah, you get like all super powerful and you roid out for like a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, that's cool. It's not. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just cool that in Zelda you only have like what you have on you.
Yeah. It just felt like this was more heavier on. You have to be good at it to beat it.
Yeah.
And it's not unfair because we give you these tools.
Yeah, like it's not a super hard game either. It just I like that Nintendo in this game was like giving you that credit.
Yeah, nothing really felt unfair is what I'm saying. Like it was difficult to me.
Yeah.
Because when you're going up against Guardians, they're not easy.
Right.
But if you know what you're doing and you understand that, okay, I need to always have a set of these arrows on me, or I need to make sure that if I'm in this area with Guardians, I need to make sure I have.
Or you get good at the shield parry.
Or you get
if you learn how to do that perfectly and it rewards you.
Yeah.
Like you get to kill them every time you encounter them.
But the thing is, like, it's not something that you get and then all of a sudden you can just do it every single time. It still requires you to do that. It's pretty
strict timing.
Yeah, it is. It really is, and I think that's what I like about the game is that as long as you're good at it, I don't feel like I have to start over and do something again and again. The only thing that would prevent me from starting it over is that I just have my stamina meter and my hearts. Yeah. Which I could do again, sure, but I feel like I don't need to because this world seems really... I don't know, I just want to keep discovering it because there's all sorts of things. Like, I haven't really been out on the ocean part yet. And I feel like there's a whole other part that I haven't gotten to yet. Because there's a couple of quests that are like, oh, there's something out there in the sea that I need to get, and blah, 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 and I want to go out and get it. But at the same time, I still feel like that thing that you said earlier where it's probably just going to be like a lightning sword that I get, or an electric sword.
Yeah, you know what? I've just said, I'm going to do all the shrines. I just said I'm going to do that, because I was thinking about it like that before. I was like, I already have the best weapons. Like, what else could I possibly get? It's going to be like
once you have the Master Sword, I mean, I'm not saying that's the one and only, but it sucks that you have to wait for it to like recharge or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is the be-all, end-all sword. I'm glad they put that restriction on it.
That it doesn't get as strong.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're in Hyrule Castle and you're fighting...
It gets stronger.
It gets stronger, yeah. By the way, exploring Hyrule Castle was probably the highlight of the game for me. Because being in Zelda's castle, in her room, and reading the diaries, and then reading the royal transcripts.
Yeah,
that was very cool. That was
really like
a good experience.
A cool, like, creepy vibe. Like, it felt like you were in danger like the whole time in there because of the guardians that were in there.
It reminded me of that.
Super well done.
It reminded me of that part in Wind Waker when you go down to the Hyrule Castle the first time.
Yeah.
And I felt like, oh, this is really cool. And then you have to immediately come back up to the surface world. And I thought, I want to explore that world.
Yeah.
And this felt... I mean, they made it in a way where being in the castle felt like I'm in danger here.
Yeah.
And there's... I gotta watch my back every time I turn a corner. But at the same time, there were so many good rewards in there for exploring that I didn't want to back out.
Yeah.
Like that part where you move the bookcases and you were able to get in the back.
Yeah, actually,
find the diary from the king.
One of the first things I did was I just went to the castle, like when I had like nothing, and I was just like sneaking through things like, oh, I need to try not to die and just steal all these weapons and then just get the hell out of here,
Finding that first shrine in there was such a relief. Like I sailed around and was like, there's gotta be a shrine in there.
I told you that, right? That it wasn't until after I beat the game and I went back to Hyrule Castle that I found the shrine in there, and that bottom section that has like a dock and like I was like, dang, this castle's freaking huge. I didn't even explore all of it. Like
I went to the dining room, and I gotta say though, the part where you find Zelda's room and you find all her drawings and her diary and everything, that was a highlight.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I mean that's where the last memory is, and thank God that's where I found her room. But I thought and you find her bow and all that kind of thing. I thought the memories were a good tool to get you to explore.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that.
I had to look some of them up though, man, because Some of them were like just like the close up of a patch of grass, and it was like, find this. I was like, there's no way.
That was the only one I think that you
no way
pointed
I'm
out to me.
Find this. Like, are you serious?
That was the only one. The one where I think it's just a forest.
It's like it's like a forest.
It's a random
like
forest.
I was like, there's like 1,000,000 trees in this world. There's no way I'm gonna find this.
The random forest. No, wrong. It was 2 that you helped me find, which was the random forest, and the one on the kind of like this weird bridge.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Those were the only 2 I didn't even find because the other ones had landmarks based on like Hyrule Castle, and I forget the other one had a tower in the background. But all of those seem really cool. And you know what? Climbing the towers was still pretty fun as well. Like the towers to discover the different worlds.
They made them all different too. Like you were telling me about that one that was covered in like that purple, like poisonous stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
So you had to find like a certain way to like
get up.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And I have to say, in the entire map, the part that I thought was underutilized was the jungle part. Nothing's there.
Yeah, there's like no divine beast, and there's
only one tower.
Yeah, I think there's 2, but yeah, I know what you mean. Then
there's this whole swamp area.
That part has some really cool shrines though. You should go back there.
Well, I beat the game right at that point, and I've been working my way back. But it's the thing with this. It's like a theme of this game. As soon as you start walking somewhere, you get this really interesting side story. Like I didn't even finish that thing that it's a statue that takes your hearts or gives you...
Oh, yeah, I didn't do that thing.
I didn't utilize that ever again.
I didn't do that. Yeah, I was scared. I didn't go
scared
near
of it?
I didn't go near that thing, yeah.
Well, I mean...
but that reminded me, too, that jungle area. There's a lot of lightning storms there.
Yeah, you have to keep taking off your metal stuff.
Yeah, that's another example of how things just work in the engine.
That lightning thing made me so angry.
Well, I was going to tell you... There's a video of this guy that has like a boomerang, and it's like the only metal object on him.
Yeah.
And the lightning, you know how it flashes a couple times before it shocks you or whatever.
Right.
He had the boomerang in his hand and he threw it at enemies and he timed it so that the lightning struck the boomerang.
That's insane.
As it was over them, and I was like, that's so cool.
That's insane.
That's so cool that works just because they made it that way. You know, like
that's insanity.
It was really cool. Either like I said, the game is like it just inspires creativity.
That's a really good example of how there's a logic to the world.
Yeah.
You know, and the only question I have about that is like when you dump a weapon, like say like this is stupid, but when that first started happening to me, I literally dropped all my metal stuff on the floor.
Oh yeah, you just unequip it.
No, I know you can unequip it, but I dropped all my weapons.
Yeah.
And I was still getting shocked. I was like, there's a bunch of metal on the floor. Why is it not getting shocked and not me? Because I thought by throwing metal stuff out, it would like not affect me. But
oh yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
No.
I love, by the way, that fire creates heat, and that creates hot air.
Oh,
so when a Lionel throws fire at you,
you
can jump above it, turn and open your parachute, and it'll.
Oh yeah, because like, there's these winds that come out of the ground.
Yeah, because it's hot. It's hot air. Hot air rises.
Right.
So like that.
I think it's like some weird mechanic where like the world cools itself off. But yeah, I know what you mean.
But then you can float above and then strike a Lionel from above.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like that actually works.
You can actually like sneak up on them too and ride. Like get on their
Lionel?
back. Yeah, they just kind of like stay in place though, and all you're supposed to do is attack them. You can't like guide them anywhere.
Oh.
But it was also like another thing that I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like
I love that you can ride a bear, you can ride a goat and a deer. You can't stable them, but you can still ride them.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
Yeah, like I said, it's just like one of those just built into the engine that like you can ride animals, so they just let you ride any animal.
I love that's just part of the game.
Yeah.
It's just you do that.
Well, we're well over an hour here. We're well over an hour on Zelda Cast.
Zelda. Well, I mean, it's just such a great game.
Yeah.
You know.
We tried to stray away from spoilers. I don't think we talked too much about story stuff. So.
Well, at this point, how far are we into Zelda in terms of its life?
Yeah, I hope everyone's played it by now. But,
well, yeah, we didn't really spoil much of it, just that like some of the gameplay elements. But dude, great game, and if you can just buy it on the Wii U, buy it on the Wii U. But the Switch is definitely. I feel like this system has a lot of potential.
Oh yeah,
a lot of potential.
Like I said, it replaced my 3DS. I just take it everywhere with me, and
me too.
It's crazy.
So, yeah.
It's crazy playing like a console, like real console current game on a handheld.
Yeah, because the graphics on that system is enough.
Yeah.
So that I feel like I'm playing an actual console.
Oh yeah, just one more thing too was
on Zelda Cast.
Yeah, on Zelda Cast. Somebody was saying like how GTA how GTA is always on a modern console.
Yeah.
The graphics have to be good.
Yeah.
And the maps are big.
Right.
But this is kind of a weird thing to say, but I think I also heard it on Easy Allies. They were talking about how they would wish that there was like let's say like a Vice City style of graphics on a modern console that had the power to make like a bigger map because they're not focusing on graphics. They're just focusing on like.
So if you had the polygon level
of like Vice
City,
and you got to make like a gigantic map just because you had all that extra room to work with,
right.
You know.
That's kind of what Zelda is.
That's exactly what. Yeah, they were saying it's kind of like what Zelda is. They weren't focused so much on graphics, but more like the scale of the entire map.
Yeah, the map is super huge.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. I never
there's still parts
I
haven't discovered. Like for the longest time, I haven't gone back to the starter area.
Oh yeah.
So I probably should do that.
Yeah. All right.
But anyway, sorry I kind of careened us all to Zelda.
Yeah. I mean, that's what everyone's talking about right now. So
yeah, I don't think we're the only podcast that said it, but I do feel like, I don't know, it's not a love. I guess it did come out as a love fest, but to be honest, I was just so pleased to play this Zelda, and I think that's why we spent so much time on it.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna be it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, and let us know what you think in the comment section too.
Yeah, if you liked the video, don't click like. Just physically tell us in the comments, like, hey, I liked this part, or you know, or
leave a horrible comment.
Yeah. Or I don't like that Steve guy. Can you just cut him out of the podcast completely? You know, whatever your thoughts are.
Yeah, and like even on the you know, the graphic that we came up with for the thing, you know, tell us what you think of those and everything. Any aspect of this show.
You don't touch that graphic. I'm in love with that drawing. I really like how it came out. Okay, well anyway, yeah, that's it for this week. So thanks for listening, guys.
See ya.